Welcome back to another video. This month we're gonna kind of do like nostalgia or Gen Z type things, just cause I'm trying to have a theme for every month. I'm gonna try to be consistent, upload every Friday. So if you're new, hi, how you doing? Thanks for clicking the video. Check out my channel. You might find some videos you like. And if you're not new, thanks for coming back. Appreciate the loyalty. Anyways, we're gonna find out why companies are firing Gen Z and why Gen Z can't find jobs. I just want to say this. Doing my own research and experience, I believe the issue is everything is so expensive. Again, I did some research on this. Everything is so expensive that even older people are coming back to the workforce. Like, they're coming back to work. That takes away from younger people, obviously, which is fine. Everybody needs to make money. On top of the fact that some people are getting 2 to 3 jobs because the economy is so screwed right now. That's probably why Gen Z is struggling with these jobs. On top of the fact that Gen Z, we got no common sense sometimes, but we also do. Like, we don't want to be like slaving away like dogs for scraps. Like, we kind of want a work balance and normal life, which is how it should be. But instead, you gotta bust your ass for like scraps, like I just said. So I think that's the problem with Gen Z. On top of the fact that like now college is like, you go to college and they give you hand in like 1,000 papers and they hand you one paper back saying, yeah, they could work here. Now, to be fair, a lot of colleges, like when you do go and they give you that piece of paper at the end of it, you know, you could get a job, especially if it's like really needed to get a job. But a lot of these jobs, it's like, you kind of don't need college. Like, and then that brings up another thing, experience. You may need experience, but then you go to get a job and it's like 2 years of experience. How am I supposed to get the experience if y'all won't hire me? Just train me for 2 years and then boom, I'm already here. On top of the fact that you go for college and they say you need 2 years experience. I didn't get the experience because I was studying for it. Like, make it make sense. Anyways, let's hop into it.
It's 9:17 and Brad is not just late for the 9 o'clock meeting, he's late for work. Brad's dress code screams anything but business. He's strutting into the office in a Supreme t-shirt and ripped jeans. And just when it couldn't get any worse, his sneakers are muddy from last week.
I'm about to disagree with this whole video.
In the meeting, Brad's long-winded explanations drag on and on, forcing everyone to cut him off before the room falls asleep. His technical skills are non-existent. He's got a master's degree, but when it comes to Excel, he's more lost than ever. He can swipe through TikTok, but can't find reply all in Outlook. Faced with real problems, Brad fumbles. Without a YouTube tutorial, his only problem-solving experience is pressing X to reload in video games. But the real kicker, Brad is so casual, it hurts. He strolls through the office like it's a coffee shop, high-fiving coworkers and calling...
Brad needs a little guidance. I ain't
Brad
gonna
is
lie.
the average Gen Z graduate.
Let's not say that.
Gen Z graduates, Brad will be out of the job within the first few months. In today's episode of the infographic, we'll reveal the shocking reasons why companies are firing Gen Z workers.
Let's talk about it.
Supervisors are facing a hiring crisis when it comes to recent graduates, and the news is bad for Gen Z. More and more bosses are refusing to hire a new generation of workers. The situation has gotten so bad that even colleges have gotten in on trying to solve the crisis.
Now hold up, here's another thing I want to add. A lot of these jobs put up applications, right? They put up applications because they had to hit a certain quota or number as a business of like, oh look, people are applying, people want to work here, that looks good for us, with no intentions of actually hiring people. It's a real thing, I'm telling you. On top of the fact, I just found this out like a couple days ago. Some jobs think that people are AI or robots because when you're looking for a job, some people, not all, some people are on unemployment. So what they do is they collect unemployment money and just throw in applications that probably look like bots or AI, just so they could keep receiving unemployment money. Therefore, the jobs are like, oh, it's a bot, brush them off. Meanwhile, there's other people that really put in applications and they might look like a bot and you might just brush it off. And they're generally looking for a job. On top of the fact, damn, I had a point and I lost it. I'm part of the problem. On top of the fact that oh yeah, some of these like applications, you put in an application and a bot or AI reviews it and not a real person, and then the bot decides, and it determines on whether it pushes you forward or throws you aside, which is crazy to me. Like, I get there's a lot of applications, but like, it's a mess. It's all a mess right now.
With many schools now offering additional courses to specifically prepare students for a professional setting. A recent survey of almost 1,000 business leaders at the forefront of the business, technology, and science sectors revealed that 1 in 6 companies are now hesitant to hire a recent college graduate. The survey asked specific questions about
Why? They
hiring
went to college
practices,
for it.
demographics, and reasons for satisfactory or unsatisfactory outcome. While 94% of companies reported hiring recent college graduates, only 25% said those hires were a success. The rest were either unsatisfactory or a total disaster. 3/4 of companies stated that they were outright dissatisfied with their Gen Z hires. But it gets worse. 3/5 of companies reported firing their Gen Z hire within a year. This has left a bad taste in the mouth of the business leaders across industries. The biggest complaint was that college graduates are unprofessional and poorly prepared to work, with many being overwhelmed by challenges in the workplace.
Okay. That could definitely be true. But why are we busting our asses as a generation? I say we, again, I don't know what generation I qualify as, Zillennials, which I don't know is a thing, or Gen Z. But the way I see it, playing devil's advocate, these people come to work, again, they want to work balance of work and home. They're working, they come and do what they need to do, and then people throw additional jobs on it without throwing additional paychecks on it. And then you throw additional hours, and you get paid for those hours. But I didn't come here to do all this extra X, Y, and Z stuff. Like, again, you're getting treated badly in the workplace, and you're not being compensated for it. I hope I said that word right. Like, you're doing all this work stuff and position changes and added little positions onto your already work position. Where's the pay raise? Where's the pay raise? Where's the benefits? Like, that's just me.
Has Gen Z been coddled to the point they are no longer hireable? According to the Society for Human Resource Management, the average hiring success rate is right around 43%. That means that 43 people out of every 100 hired will actually work out long-term for the company. But when you look at the intelligence survey, the situation for Gen Z is even more worrying. 6 out of 10 companies surveyed reported having to fire a Gen Z worker, putting Gen Z hiring success rate significantly lower than the average. Houston, we have a generational problem, and it's bad enough that many Gen Z workers might have trouble landing and keeping jobs because of it. So, into the issues behind Gen Z's apparent lack of hireability. A whopping 9 out of 10 companies surveyed reported that Gen Z desperately needed further etiquette training. Across the board, the prognosis is clear. Gen Z does not know how to operate in a professional environment. Good workplace etiquette is key for productivity and harmony. It's about understanding how to navigate professional relationships. This
but I haven't
includes
seen
knowing
it.
when to use formal titles, being aware of sexual harassment policies, and proper communication, both on the phone and online. Gen Z tends to treat its workplace and correspondence like it's a Discord chat room. Memes and emojis are great for Reddit and Instagram, but not so much for your 9 to 5. Imagine losing your
Gen
job
Z do
because
be
you
unserious.
responded to an
Can't
email
deny that.
with a handsome Squidward gif. Knowing how to dress is just as important. Most workplaces go for business casual, a more relaxed version of a more formal attire you might see at a law firm. Business casual can be dressed down to jeans, but only if paired with a nice button-up shirt and nice clean shoes. Wearing graphic t-shirts and dirty sneakers is definitely a no-go. If you're part
Obviously.
of Gen Z, you should treat the workplace like you're dressing for a date. You want to make a good impression without being creepy by wearing a full suit. A lack of professionalism was a reason that Gen Zers didn't work out 46% of the time. Other
Okay.
issues included a serious lack of motivation or initiative, with half of all companies surveyed, almost 500, stating that their Gen Z employees needed close supervision and showed little drive to take charge. This might be due to the culture shock Gen Z is experiencing moving from a perpetually online life to a professional workplace. It could also be that Gen Z is the most vocal about how exploitative industries can be. While their
True,
online
we're not
existence
going
may
for
have
it.
dulled Gen Z's preparation for a professional setting, it's also increased their awareness of the many pitfalls of modern industry. Gen Z questions things like why cover letters are still a thing, why salary information isn't displayed on a job listing and not kept secret, and wages overall have not kept pace with either cost of living or the value of industry since the 1970s. Hiring managers may find Gen Z more motivated if the American dream wasn't officially unreachable for most of them because boomers sucked it dry decades ago and left a mess in their wake. But there's still some very legitimate criticism to be made of Gen Z. 39% of surveyed companies stated that Gen Z employees lacked good communication skills, which is ironic for a generation that spends hours screaming into headsets on Call of Duty. When most online lobbies devolve into a shouting,
I could agree with that. I could agree with it. Everybody, I'm gonna get some heat for this, but everybody has anxiety now. Everyone is too afraid. Everyone's always got to bring up, I'm an introvert, I'm an extrovert. You're a human being. You're meant to interact with other people. Some people like more than others. That's just what it is. Like, you're a human being at the end of the day. You got to talk to people. You're a being that interacts with other beings. Like, let's start with the excuses.
blame game with a healthy sprinkling of racism and homophobia, it's easy to see why Gen Z communication skills might be glitching. This ties in with 38% of companies who reported that Gen Z was overly sensitive and struggled with professional feedback. The online world turned every disagreement into a zero-sum ego battle, and now Gen Z treats feedback like a boss just nerfed their favorite weapon. Even more troubling for Gen Z is the fact that 34% of new hires showed bad problem-solving skills, which is odd because video games are supposed to make you better at that. But it turns out real-world problems aren't like following a quest marker in Skyrim, especially when you can't communicate properly. A staggering 30% of employers say Gen Z lacks basic technical skills, struggling with Excel and Word, programs that are as old as their parents. This decline in ability is blamed on access to mobile devices and cloud-based editors like Google Docs, both of which means Gen Z doesn't know how to navigate menus of word processing programs or engage in even simple formatting tasks. Ironically, despite being the first digitally native generation, Gen Z is also showing a dramatic decline in typing skills, thanks to an over-reliance on mobile phones and autocorrect features where the spelling just needs to be in the ballpark. If you think we're making any of this up, Reddit is full of posts of Gen Z not knowing how to use various computer programs or even computers themselves, and the complaints range from around the world, not just making this an American or even Western issue. But it's not entirely
I'm not gonna lie, I was never computer savvy. I just have bad luck with computers. The more I do it, the better I get. But going in on computers, some stuff seems like simple knowledge to other people. To me, I'm like, I'm not a computer person.
Have cut these programs, assuming Gen Z's familiarity with tech means that they don't need formal instruction. While Gen Z might be digital natives, much of their knowledge is informal and self-taught, leaving them high and dry. Recently, California made it mandatory for public students to undergo typing classes, much like their parents had to in order to graduate. Gen Z is also suffering from a critical social skills problem, likely fueled by their online lifestyle, where direct human-to-human interaction is rarer than ever before. This is growing into what is increasingly being called a dating crisis, as Gen Z fails to make meaningful romantic connections. Online culture may allow you to play with people all over the world,
dating's cooked online.
but real-world interactions still matter. A survey by psychologist Andrew Thomas showed that the feeling of being left out amongst teens grew from 13% in 2018 to 30% in 2022. Gen Z is outright avoiding in-person social interactions. A Center for Disease Control survey showed that teenagers are more risk-averse than ever before, with less rates of smoking, drug use, drinking, physical fighting, and even sex, showing a downward trajectory in all categories.
Let's talk about that. Kind of made it sound like a bad thing, but it's a good thing. Me personally, I never believed in smoking weed. People like, it's from the earth. Lighting a fire this close to your face and then breathing in smoke and ashes and flames is common sense. It's not good for you. If you want to get high, okay, go eat it. I don't know. Go sprinkle it in your tea. I don't know. But it's true. A lot of people don't smoke anymore unless it's like weed, which I just explained why I think it's stupid anyways. It's like a social thing, and anyways, people don't smoke cigarettes. That's great. Should have never been doing it to begin with. Drinking, people still drink, but it's expensive. It is expensive. Of course nobody wants to drink. Good. Also, you got to be like a social person to go out and drink, unless you just drink in the house on your lonesome. The sex thing, we can't afford to have kids. People can't afford to have kids with this economy. Of course we ain't doing it. We're too scared to have a kid. And if you're doing it, I don't know, I'm just yapping at this point. Back to the video.
It's 1990. That might sound like a good thing, but the bad side is that teenagers today are attending fewer in-person gatherings, such as house parties, than ever before. And a whopping 59% of Gen Z males report not having approached a potential partner in person for the last year
that's crazy
the survey was taken. The trend is clear. Gen Z is less social than ever, despite spending most of their lives on social media.
That and we probably can't afford
them
it.
Worse at everything that a professional workplace requires out of them. Despite playing more video games than ever before, something that's proven to improve problem-solving skills and critical thinking skills, Gen Z is actually struggling with these skills in a real-life setting. Skill sets suited for video games are proving to be a poor fit for most professional jobs, though there are industries where Gen Z thrives, reflecting their unique upbringing. The question on every hiring manager's mind is, what do we do now? As the world becomes ever more digital, the hiring crisis is only set to grow. While typing and computer familiarization classes in schools is a great start, it doesn't solve the fundamental problem with Gen Z's lack of social skills, problem-solving abilities, and low personal initiative. The future of industry is extremely uncertain, and this should worry everyone. Now
True.
Go check out Millennials versus Gen Z. What?
True. I agree and disagree with a lot of the stuff that was said. I just think we're not doing certain things because it's too expensive, and then when we are working, we're not going for the bullshit. I will say that our generation is a little sensitive, but we not going for the BS. Like, why am I doing this, this, and this without getting this, this, and this? I'm not a robot. I'm not a robot. Let me know what you think. What are your thoughts? Comment down below. If you want to watch the actual video that I just reacted to, it's on the infographic show. I'll put it in the description. Interesting topic. Interesting topic. Thank you for watching. Take care. I'm out.